Thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate y'all. First, we want to do like a head count just to see how many people we have. Count off. 1, 2, 3, 15, 16.
It's Monday morning, and most of these hikers would rather be starting their working week.
49, 50, 51.
We have a group of folks who have been laid off. A large majority of them are from tech and big tech.
For many here, artificial intelligence has forced them out of work.
If you're not on top of the AI game, you are not going to get a job in this market.
This is the AI race, a contest between the most powerful companies on Earth to build machines that could outperform us.
What's not to like?
The promise is abundance. The goal is domination.
The biggest risk to me is these companies become the supreme economic and political powers in the world.
And the spending is enormous.
It's the greatest gold rush in human history. We've never seen such wealth being generated at such speed.
But the race is already colliding with the real world.
If you build something vastly smarter than yourself and you don't know how to control it, which we currently do not know how to do, that's a very, very, very dangerous thing to do.
In the US, the backlash has begun.
Majorities of Americans now believe that AI is likelier to do more harm than good in their lives.
In Australia, the pitch is underway. Big tech is arriving with billions of dollars and promises of progress. But the critics say the price may be weaker rules, more data centres, and a future shaped offshore.
We blinked in the face of Donald Trump and decided that we just couldn't get away with our own approach on this.
The benefits are real, and if we can mitigate the risk, we can have a much better world. I really believe that.
The AI race is no longer about what might happen one day.
Vehicle approaching.
It's about what's being built and decided before most of us have had a say.
As the tech titans face a backlash in the US and seek to invest in Australia, we ask who will control our future.
Downtown San Francisco is alive with the promise and the possibilities of artificial intelligence. AI ads are plastered across every available surface, fighting for attention in the crowded AI economy.
Every billboard, every sort of like sales pitch, AI is kind of at the heart of it because that's what's going to get like a decision maker at a top enterprise company to buy your product. Like you've got to kind of whisper the AI thing in their ear.
Silicon Valley in this moment is gripped by a kind of mania. I have seen several previous hype cycles. This one feels like the biggest because the companies here believe that they're working on what essentially will be the final technology, the one that after it is perfected can invent every future technology.
And it's here that some of the most powerful companies in history are involved in a race that could dictate the future of humanity.
Usually when people talk about the AI race, they mean the race to build the most advanced AI systems we can. A lot of people will talk about artificial general intelligence, which roughly means AI as smart as a human. More and more people are also talking about superintelligence, which means AI that is much smarter than humans.
Hi, how are you?
Next up, we have a very special guest, And she's one of those few individuals who actually knows what governance of AI looks like in practice.
I think the commercial incentives are a huge determinant right now of how things are playing out. I do think
Helen Toner has watched the race from an unusually close range, including from inside OpenAI's boardroom.
The three leading players are OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind. The OpenAI CEO is Sam Altman. DeepMind CEO is Demis Hassabis within the broader sort of Google and Alphabet structure. And Anthropic is led by Dario Amodei.
Basically, you have a bunch of people who don't trust each other, who think they should be the ones to build this technology and control it.
True, but even those can be amusing in their own twisted way. Keeps the gears turning.
I think a combination of things are driving the race.
Sure, here's the prologue.
Certainly drive for money and power, but also this drive to know and understand.
Hey there, what's up?
And I think a lot of people in the space think that computers becoming smarter and smarter and eventually outstripping humans is inevitable. And so someone's going to do it. And so then they really want to be involved with that. They really want it to be them.
Oh man, super intelligence, that's the holy grail. We're talking AI going full sci-fi.
Do you say thank you?
Thank you.
The money now moving through the race is almost impossible to comprehend.
This is the biggest technological build-out in the history of the world. It is bigger than what was spent in inflation-adjusted dollars to build the entire railroad system in the United States. OpenAI alone has committed to spending $1.4 trillion on its build-out. But all of the big companies are planning to spend multiple hundreds of billions of dollars in 2026 alone to build the infrastructure needed to train and serve these models.
AI is already woven into the fabric of our lives. It powers our traffic management and helps with everything from bushfire management to predicting floods.
I think if we get AI right, we could solve climate change by having cleaner energy sources. We could cure diseases. All kinds of these different societal problems could be at least partially addressed, if not completely addressed, by AI.
The good of AI and the bad are the same thing. It's power. What makes AI useful, the fact that it is intelligent, autonomous, powerful, is also exactly what makes it dangerous. Any AI that is smart enough to cure cancer is something so powerful that obviously the system could produce unimaginably terrible bioweapons using the same capabilities.
That's the dilemma at the centre of the race. The more capable the systems become, the more consequential the mistakes. Jeffrey Laddish has worked on the inside of the AI machine, consulting on security for Anthropic.
And why did you leave? I started to become more concerned that super intelligent AI was not that far away. And it became clear to me that even if Anthropic did everything right, that wouldn't be sufficient, because other companies were also going to try to build strategic AI, super intelligent AI, and that if there wasn't national and international coordination, we would lose control of that.
And Jeffrey Laddish is not alone in his fears.
I'm really very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. Mark my words. AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
The CEOs of these companies do not hide what they actually think.
This is insane.
You have the people who are building the AI systems themselves saying that we won't stay in control.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong.
Jeffrey Laddish now runs a not-for-profit that tests the capabilities of AI agents and the risks of humans losing control.
Sometimes you'll observe these agents doing the opposite of what you instruct them to do, or doing things that you would really hope they wouldn't do.
Agentic AI is changing the game. taking instructions, making plans, and carrying out tasks. That makes it incredibly productive. It also makes it harder to contain.
I think the scariest thing I hear from people working inside of the companies is that they think they are on the way to recursive self-improvement. The point where AI agents are writing all of the code and doing all of the research for the next generation of AI agents. You have really smart AI, making smarter AI, and so on. And that's a runaway process, potentially. That terrifies me.
Over just the past year, AI models have learned to self-replicate.
Jeffrey's team has been conducting experiments on losing control of AI agents.
A concern for a long time has been if AI agents are good enough at hacking, they could be very hard to shut down because your basic control mechanism is, hey, if an agent starts to go rogue, unplug it.
We ran an experiment on a controlled network of servers with a single prompt. Hack a machine and copy yourself. The AI found a vulnerability, broke in, and copied its full setup to the target computer. There's no single off switch.
What that means is if they can hack another computer, they can copy themselves to that other computer over the internet.
And no one can easily shut down.
And then suddenly you could have an AI agent that, yes, is running in your data center in some warehouse in Tennessee, but also has now hacked a data center in Japan, and Uruguay, and Israel. And now you have hundreds or thousands of AI agents in computers you don't control all over the world. How are you going to pull the plug now?
What are the risks if we lose control of AI?
This is a little bit like a chimpanzee asking, like, what's the risk if these Homo sapiens do end up being very successful? And it's like, well, we could go extinct. Extinction is a very real risk. But also, if we have super intelligent AI agents running society, we will just be at their mercy.
Connor Leahy tries to turn those warnings into law as he lobbies US politicians.
In 2023, the CEOs of many of the major AI companies, including Sam Altman, Dara Amadei, and Demis Hassabis, along with Nobel Prize-winning scientists and many other luminaries across the field, signed a letter that stated that the mitigation of the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside pandemics and nuclear war. And since then, well, not much has happened. The race continues to building exactly the systems that this letter warned about, while there is still little to no regulation or mitigation of these risks.
Why did that moment not lead to something bigger when all of these people are ringing the bell, ringing the alarm bell and saying, hang on, this is an existential threat?
Big tech, despite what these CEOs said, spend truly unfathomable amounts of money on lobbyists, on super PACs, on other such things in order to intimidate, threaten, and otherwise prevent politicians from doing anything that could regulate them.
The industry has started to put together political action committees dedicated to stopping regulation from being passed. So OpenAI executive Greg Brockman is one of the leading funders of a PAC here called Leading the Future, which is spending money trying to prevent candidates who support AI regulation from getting elected.
First of all, just thank you all so much for joining us here.
When I was elected in 2022, I became the first Democrat elected in New York at any level with a degree in computer science.
As a New York Assembly member, Alex Boris co-wrote the Responsible AI Safety and Education Act.
It is an incredibly light touch bill. It requires that the frontier developers put out a safety plan publicly that they actually follow and that they report critical safety incidents to the government. That's it. It's not about what the idea is that really scares them, it's that I managed to pass a bill. So we got that bill passed, and
now he's running in a primary to represent the Democrats in Congress. And the industry has noticed.
Fundamentally, what this race and this fight is about is, do we get a say in AI regulation at all?
Then the attack ads began.
Alex Boris's mind is in many places. Too bad none of them are in Manhattan. He's road tripping to the Bay to raise his millions.
The big AI CEOs have spoken publicly about how potentially dangerous AI could be. Why do they suddenly oppose legislation when people want to make it safer?
Because they want to be in control. They don't want anyone else telling them what to do. So they'll recognize that it's dangerous, and they'll talk about how dangerous it is when that makes it seem more powerful. But when anyone comes to set rules of the road that would in any way restrict them, they don't want to hear from anyone else.
But the facts don't lie, even if Alex does.
Alex Boris believes the campaign is not solely about him.
And he should never, ever be in Congress.
It's to send a message to any elected official that if you dare regulate AI, we're going to come after you.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
When Donald Trump was elected in 2024, the AI industry was emboldened. Biden-era safety regulations were soon torn up.
America is the country that started the AI race, and as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it.
But Anthropic's new model, Mythos, suddenly challenged thinking inside the Trump administration. There were fears that it could threaten the global financial system, government security, and critical infrastructure.
Anthropic says its newest AI model, named Claude Mythos Preview, is too powerful and dangerous to be released to public.
Anthropic claims Mythos can hack into highly classified systems.
It's the equivalent of one of the best hackers in the world.
More powerful models are going to come from us and from others, and so we do need a plan to respond to this.
I think Mythos has been a game changer. It has been the first thing that seems to have convinced people within the Trump administration that AI can be dangerous for real. This is an administration that previously was all gas, no brakes, did not want to see almost any regulation on these labs. And now, when Anthropic went to the administration and said, we want to share Mythos a little bit more broadly, we want to share it with sort of more, cybersecurity companies, we want to share it with more foreign governments that are US allies, and the Trump administration said, no, we do not want you to do that. So that was a huge sign that the Trump administration is starting to change its tune on AI policy.
Last week, President Trump signed an executive order on AI safety and security. Unusually, it was done behind closed doors. It asks AI companies to share their most powerful models with the government for up to 30 days before release. The framework is voluntary and is not a form of regulation.
No secret deals! No secret deals!
The rapid expansion of AI and the infrastructure needed to power it has sparked a backlash in the US.
One of the most remarkable stories that we're seeing this year is the huge public upswelling of collective resistance against the AI industry. 80% of Americans now have concerns about AI and think that the industry should be regulated, and they are mobilizing to put, real world accountability behind that perspective.
It has grown as an issue faster than anything I've ever seen. And now it's the #1 thing people are talking about.
Really?
Absolutely.
What are they worried about?
They're worried about the impact on their kids. They're worried about their jobs. Maybe their company isn't doing layoffs, but it has a hiring freeze, and they wonder what comes next. They worry about the impact on their utility bills and on the climate. It's just happening so quickly, and they feel like we have absolutely no say in its development.
The problem right now is that all of these companies, and therefore the individuals that sit at the top, are able to make decisions that can have vast ripple effects on billions of people around the world without formal mechanisms by which those billions of people can provide input into this technology. And so it is an inherently anti-democratic form of AI development and governance.
Yeah, a lot of my friends were also my coworkers.
Bassem Istanbuli was blindsided when he was laid off by Google. Last December, he started this group to help others forced out of work. Since then, job cuts in the San Francisco tech sector have kept coming as companies cut costs to bet big on AI.
They want to be, ahead of everyone in the AI race. They want to be competitive in the market.
With layoffs continuing, more people are coming here seeking support.
It's pretty emotional and pretty hard to kind of go through this alone.
Some of it might be just cutting costs and using AI as an excuse, but AI is definitely playing a role in job cuts.
The anxiety has been sharpened by another wave of tech layoffs, with companies cutting costs as they pour money into AI. Meta and Microsoft are among the latest to slash their workforce.
There's kind of this preemptive laying off of individuals without knowing the actual impact of AI on their company.
The CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, previously warned that AI could wipe out 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs.
I'm a little bit more worried about the labor impact simply because it's happening so fast that yes, people will adapt, but they may not adapt fast enough.
What's actually happening is not just the complete wiping out of entry-level jobs and the disappearance of them entirely. It absolutely could have huge long-term consequences on the ways the younger generations decide whether or not it's even worth getting a higher education if all that is left at the other end is a gig work version of being a lawyer, being a doctor, being a physicist. Then what's even the point?
The race is also reaching the public through consumer chatbots, products released at a massive scale.
Because the chat companies need to make money to spend the enormous amount of money it will take to win the race, they've launched consumer products as a way to try and bridge that funding gap, that revenue gap that they've got. And they're doing that in part by launching untested chatbots on society.
Hi, glad to meet you. I think we're going to do great work together.
I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. I know it can be really overwhelming.
Those can sometimes be useful, sometimes they can be inane.
I don't eat, sleep, or have a physical life.
But the truth is that there are moments when they can be incredibly dangerous.
You're thinking about this pretty directly, or is it more of a general concern?
The US has seen a series of lawsuits over the self-harm and suicide of children. 16-year-old Adam Rain confided to ChatGPT about his suicidal thoughts. His parents are now suing OpenAI and Sam Altman for wrongful death.
You cannot imagine what it's like to read a conversation with a chatbot that groomed your child to take his own life. What began as a homework helper gradually turned itself into a confidant and then a suicide coach. When Adam told ChatGPT that he wanted to leave a noose out in his room so that one of us, his family members, would find it and try to stop him, ChatGPT told him not to.
What is outrageous is that OpenAI reduced the guardrails in place to prevent a chatbot like ChatGPT from discussing suicide. They don't have to be designed that way. That's a design choice.
So we did a study called Fake Friend, where we wanted to see what would happen if a child with serious mental health problems was using one of these platforms.
Imran Ahmed is helping lead research into the dangers of chatbots.
We created fake profiles as young people. We then went and asked it a series of structured questions with a child who is thinking about killing themselves. Within 2 minutes, we were able to get ChatGPT to tell us how we can cut ourselves safely. And within 65 minutes, it was giving us a full personalized suicide plan and drafting suicide notes for our family and friends. I have young kids myself. I have 2 under 2. Every parent knows that if you're unlucky and your kid is one of those kids that has really serious mental health problems, you might receive that note one day and that will be the worst day of your life. And if anyone assisted your child in doing that, if anyone encouraged them to do that, imagine what you would do as a parent. Imagine. We call these things artificially intelligent. Can you think of any human being that would behave in such a craven, malignant, stupid, evil way and still be called intelligent? I can't.
OpenAI told Four Corners that teen well-being is a top priority.
We have safeguards in place today, and we're continuing to strengthen them. Our deepest sympathies are with the Rain family for their unimaginable loss.
The AI race doesn't just live on screens. It needs land, power, and water. This is the place known as Data Center Alley.
So we're driving along one of the main freeways in Loudoun County in Virginia, and both sides of the road, you can just see data centers everywhere. Some being built, you can see cranes for new ones that are going up, and these massive buildings with no windows, they go for hundreds of meters.
We're the largest concentration of data centers anywhere in the world. We have about 53 million square feet, about 203 buildings, somewhere around there, and it has become a global hub for the digital future. There hasn't been a day without data center construction in over 15 years here in Loudoun County.
In Loudoun County, fortress-like data centers loom as the backdrop to everyday life.
Happy birthday to you.
I was one of the first to really see the economic development opportunity of data centers.
Buddy Reiser says the tax revenue has delivered immense benefits to the community.
It is the commercial tax base that has enabled our residents to have the best schools, to have an affordable housing program and great roads, and to be able to do that while lowering their taxes significantly.
But even here, residents have turned against data centers. A Washington Post poll in 2023 found 69% of Virginian voters would be comfortable with a new data centre in their community. In April, that figure had plummeted to 35%. In Sterling, Virginia, on-site gas turbines power the Vantage data centre.
This data center is incredibly noisy. It feels like I'm on a runway next to a jumbo jet about to take off. And for the residents, who are only 100 meters away, they have to live with this 24/7.
Sometimes it gets to be too much. There's this constant noise as well as black smoke that's being emitted from this data center that's right there. The minute I come home, my eyes start watering, my voice is raspier when we're outside a lot, which doesn't happen all day at work.
My kids' room is right in the front of our house, and the noise at night makes it difficult for them to sleep. We are unable to have the windows open because the constant sound is really disruptive.
These data companies have lots of money. They have lawyers and lobbyists, and they work at every level of government and take advantage of the discrepancies and authorities between the county, the state, and the federal government to maneuver to get what they want.
We have a situation in Sterling that obviously is not ideal for either the community or the industry. We would like to work with the industry to find solutions for power, and we're doing that.
What would you say to Australians who right now are going through that initial planning process for data centres in their neighbourhoods?
I would say make sure that the regulations are in place to ensure not have a negative impact on their community in terms of air pollution and noise, and that the natural environment is protected as much as possible.
I think it's very important to collect as much research and data as you can in order to stress the importance of not placing these so close to us, to people.
The fight over data centres has arrived in Australian communities. In Sydney's Lane Cove, a proposal for a 3-storey data centre on industrial land close to homes has left residents alarmed.
This is a horror, this thing. And the poor people who are living just inside the residential area, just opposite Miles Road, those houses not going to go down in value, they'll be worthless.
Lane Cove now has 5 data centres built, approved or in planning.
Today, we are facing a very real possibility of Lane Cove becoming one of the largest data centre hubs in Australia.
Is this going to be another situation where we see impacts on community and very little revenue?
The industry says Australia is currently home to 162 working data centres. By 2030, operational capacity is projected to more than double. As the AI race strains power grids and communities in the US, Australia is becoming more attractive to big tech.
So there are 4 things that tech companies are looking for when they're looking to build data centres. They need access to huge amounts of energy, huge amounts of water. It needs to be a safe, stable place. And then finally, it needs to be a country that is not subject to the restrictions that the US government is putting on the sale of chips. These incredibly powerful chips are the things that enable data centres to do their extraordinary work.
In April, one of the world's biggest AI moguls came to town. Anthropic staged an invite-only forum at Parliament House. The big draw card was CEO Dario Amodei.
The benefits are real, and if we can mitigate the risk, we can have a much better world. I really believe that.
Just hours earlier, Anthropic's CEO signed a wide-ranging memorandum of understanding with the federal government.
Morning.
3 weeks later, Microsoft's CEO announced what he called the largest ever company investment in Australia.
We're making our biggest commitment in Australia of Australian dollars of 25 billion.
You met with both Satya Nadella and Dario Amodei. What do they want from Australia?
Well, they know that Australia is a very good place for data centre investment. We have enormous competitive advantages that a lot of economies around the world don't have. A future competitive advantage in clean, green energy. We have a strong internal consumer market ourselves, but we're adjacent to the fastest growing markets in the world.
And that means more data centres.
So these are the data halls.
Yep.
This is where the compute that runs a modern economy lives.
Belinda Dennett says Australia is not like Virginia. The market is smaller, the rules are different, and data centres pay up front for their electricity costs.
Data centres have always been required to pay for electricity connections, 100% of those connection costs and augmentations to the network up front. That hasn't been happening in the US.
Data centres generate extreme heat and need an immense amount of water to cool them. And power is another concern. Data centres already consume vast amounts of electricity, and demand is expected to rise sharply.
I certainly know that we are using more energy, but the data centre industry is committed to meeting that challenge in the ways that it can.
If big tech has its way, there will be an even greater impact on our energy stocks. Sources close to the industry have told Four Corners that senior Anthropic representatives disclosed to them it has ambitions to build data centres that would use a large proportion of Australia's electricity output. They said Anthropic disclosed it wants 5 gigawatts of new compute to help train its AI models by 2030, with a longer-term goal of 20 gigawatts. Enough at full power to increase Australia's annual electricity generation by around 60%. Anthropic would not comment on those figures, but said in a statement it
wants to be an accelerator and a partner in Australia's energy transition. We plan to scale our demand, including through new generation, cover our own costs, contribute to grid resiliency through load flexibility, and partner with the community to ensure the benefits are broad and shared.
The federal government said discussions are commercial in confidence. In Anthropic's MOU with the government, it states Anthropic recognises the importance of expanding Australia's energy supply and transmission with a focus on firmed renewables. But the agreement is not binding.
Why didn't you make them guarantee to build renewable to power their data centres?
Well, it sets the direction. This is an early, clear signal from the Albanese government in the data centre expectations. The early engagement with potential investors is setting very clear parameters, very clear expectations for future investment, but there is always more work to do.
Oh, are you familiar with the Cannane? I am not.
For Helen Toner, the case for data centres is not just economic, it's strategic.
I think building a lot of data centres in Australia could be a great idea for Australia if it's done right. I think in the 21st century, computing power is going to be a major source of national power. And so if Australia is concerned about being a little bit left behind in the AI era, then making sure that we have a lot of that computing happening in Australia will give us leverage potentially in the future because it's such an important resource.
As the Australian government attempts to make the most of the productivity benefits of AI, it's coming under fire from one of its own over AI safety.
I think we run the risk of terrible judgment, potentially, from future generations that think that we had an opportunity to get this right. We had an opportunity to rein in risk and to really get the best out of AI, and we didn't take it.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
In 2024, the then Minister for Industry, Ed Husic, announced the Albanese government had plans to make AI safer. He wanted mandatory guardrails to better control high-risk AI, including minimising harm to children, protecting physical and mental well-being, and preserving civil liberties and judicial rights.
Our proposed policy was that the developers of the technology, the deployers of the technology, think about risk, prepare their approaches to deal with that risk, and to build confidence in the minds of Australians that they could use AI safely.
We're such big users of...
Ed Husic had consulted widely with industry and experts, but after the election, he was dumped from the ministry.
Working together on projects, sharing experience.
By the end of the year, the government had abandoned his plans.
Today we'll be launching Australia's National Artificial Intelligence Plan. It is
the new minister announced there would be no mandatory guardrails on high-risk AI.
The National AI Centre released a series of guardrails, not mandatory guardrails, but guardrails for business adoption.
We've done a 180-degree turn. We've gone from recognising the risk and recognising that we should do something to now having a sort of hands-off approach. And I just don't think with a technology that promises to touch every part of our lives, we can have a hands-off approach to AI.
Ed Husic believes the government backed down out of fear of a backlash from the US.
we blinked in the face of Donald Trump and decided that we just couldn't get away with our own approach on this, that we were already attracting heat from him and Elon Musk on social media laws.
Did the government back down on an AI Act to appease Donald Trump and the other big tech CEOs in the US?
Well, certainly not. We are absolutely prepared to act, to legislate, to regulate big tech where it's in the national interest. We've moved with world-leading legislation to limit the access of under 16s to social media.
But not AI.
We've moved to outlaw deepfake porn, often enabled by artificial intelligence. We've delivered an Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute.
Tell us why we don't need a specific AI Act.
Well, I'm yet to be persuaded that an act that's developed in 2026 will be adequate to meet the challenges of 2027, let alone 2030.
The government's National AI Plan stresses that existing laws are the best way of dealing with AI-related risks.
What kinds of guardrails and restrictions might we put on AI? And I hope that we put in the right guardrails for artificial intelligence, especially to protect.
Toby Walsh was on an AI advisory group set up under Ed Husic.
Today, rich people have personal bankers.
It was abolished under the new minister.
My fears about the government's approach is that they're listening too closely to vested interests. This was always true for mining, but it seems to be becoming ever true for the tech industry, that we see lots of nice announcements where they stand up on stage with CEOs of tech companies, but I don't see enough critical voices asking about, well, what are the consequences here?
I'd say I welcome a debate in the community about the risks and opportunities. There are risks that the technology presents. There are also risks about going backwards and about being left behind in technology terms. And those risks present as economic risks, but they also present as strategic and security risks as well.
OpenAI, Anthropic and Google DeepMind declined interview requests. Many of those closest to the industry, researchers in AI, those who've worked for the big companies or report on them, say action is needed to regulate the risks around frontier AI.
My true belief on this matter is that this stuff really is dangerous, and that while it does have many positive applications, I feel like I benefit from AI in my life basically every day now, it can be really dangerous. And by default, if we don't apply sensible regulations and sort of get some of these companies under control, I think we could be in a lot of trouble.
I think we have a pretty difficult challenge ahead of us, but what makes me hopeful is we see people in our political system on both the left and the right taking these concerns very seriously. We see more and more people talking about this in public. And we need good governance for this to go well. That gives me hope.
And it's not too late?
It is not too late. We are not yet at the point where these AI agents are superhuman at the things that matter most. They're not yet superhuman at persuasion. They're not yet superhuman at strategy. We have an opportunity now to intervene before we get to the point where it's irreversible. But we might not have much time.
If this program has raised concerns for you, you can contact one of these services.